tell us what applicant tracking systems are? Because there's so much misinformation about them out on the internet.
Yes. Applicant tracking systems, I feel in terms of what they are, it's a computer software that's designed to scan resumes, and it'll scan out resumes for certain keywords, and it'll weed out the ones that don't match what the job description entails. Now, here's the thing though about applicant tracking systems. A lot of people freak out about them. And the truth is if you are following this process of leveraging job descriptions and keywords, and you're using the job descriptions to build your resume, as we were describing today, and you're following the strategy, then you don't need to worry at all about what happens with the applicant tracking systems. You're going to pass it for sure, because again, they're using the job descriptions to identify keywords, and you're using the job descriptions to use the keywords to put on your resume. So you're all doing the same thing. And so that's when you really don't have to worry. The one time that you should worry about applicant tracking systems is if you're not following this process and this system that we're talking about, and you're just writing your resume just from the top of your head and using your own memory and thoughts. That's where I would worry.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. And, for people out there, I think they're so scared of applicant tracking systems. And what I always tell them is it's basically a big Excel sheet or a big Google Doc sheet where recruiters, hiring managers, they're seeing who is in queue for the job. So even if the applicant tracking system scans a resume, looks for keywords, things like that, the recruiter, the hiring manager, they're still seeing the resumes. So there's still a person behind all of this. The recruiter, they're the ones who control the applicant tracking system. And the vast majority of recruiters that I've talked to throughout my life, throughout my career, they actually do go through and read all of the resumes at some of the larger companies. There are actually recruiters that just do that. So, don't worry necessarily about the applicant tracking systems, because they all have different capabilities. Some are smarter, some are dumber, but really at the end of the day, they're a big filing cabinet, and there's still a human on the other side of it. So what you need to be prepared for is to put out the best resume, put out the best application that you can. And honestly, one of the things that I always tell people about the whole process is that when you are on a website inputting your information into a job application, you're actually dealing with an applicant tracking system, just the front end of it. And all that information then goes into sort of basically a file for a recruiter and a hiring manager to look at. Point about, if you're just doing a good job application, if you're doing a great job on your resume, you don't even have to worry about that. Thanks for watching. Some great advice there. Hope you found it useful and informative. If you're looking for additional guidance on your career journey, click the buttons on the screen to see the next video in the series, or watch the full-length episode for more tips. Both videos are also listed in the description below.